So I am the product of IIT Jodhpur here, and the sir is the one who has nurtured me in this my journey here. So it's indeed a honor for me, sir, to invite you for this technical sessions. And before sir start here, let me give a brief introduction about the sir's bio here. So sir is at present associate professor in IIT Jodhpur, Rajasthan here, and sir is working in IIT Jodhpur here till December 2010 here when he has joined as assistant professor in electrical engineering department at IIT Rajasthan at the time here. And prior to that, he was LMM at Laboratory, University of Technology in Troyes, France here, where he worked from July 2007 to the July 2008 as an invited researcher. And before that, he was in as a senior project associate from January 2006 to August 2006 in IIT Kanpur. And before that, he was as a project associate in electrical engineering department at IIT Kanpur from January 2005 to the January 2006 here. So, related to sir education background here, sir has done BTech from HPTI Kanpur and MTech and PhD from IIT Kanpur here in electrical engineering department. So, sir has got the Young Scientist Award from System Society of India from IIT Bhubaneswar, Odisha in 2011. Graphical System Design Achievement Award in 2012 in research category of and application of the year development of digital radio on daily transmitter of the National Instruments here India in 2012. Sir's present research area includes signal processing, conditional monitoring, artificial neural network, blind source separation, image processing, and machine learning here. So the for your information here, so next tomorrow same time session will be taken by the sirs on the IoT and machine learning here. Along with that, sir has investigated few sponsored projects here. An algorithm for blind signal detection and demodulation funded by the DRDO and completed in 2018. It was 3 years project. Other projects are handled transforming healthcare through technology innovation funded by IBM. Another reproduced child healthcare EASA funded by UNICEF. It is also completed here. Along with that, Sarah has completed some consultancy projects, development of DRM Plus standards funded by NI India, Link Budget funded by WESCC, Carrier Frequency Offset funded by DRDO, NI Sensor Network Lab funded by NI India, CrossMac and Physical Layer Research funded by NI India, development of intelligent and cellular communication courses funded by NI India here. Along with that, Sir is a co-project investigator of two projects here. So one is funded by the MHRD on development of low-cost mobile robotics, and another project is funded by the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, on energy efficient technologies for smart building. Along with that, Sir has also developed a few software here for the societies as well as for the service provider here. So DRM plus transmitter. This is for the National Instrumentation for the General developed here along with the EASA platform here for the healthcare application, and there is a link budget estimation for ship-to-ship communication, transforming healthcare through technology innovation, and moreover, Sarah has have a copyright submission on algorithm for blind signal modulation recognition, and it is filed in January 2020. This is a very brief bio related to the cells here, and more related to the publication parts here. If we see here, the Sarah has published two book chapter. One book he has as a book editor here. He has published more than 25 journal publication, highly reputed journals here in Transaction, IEEE, Wiley, Elsevier. So whatever the reputed publications here are aware, Sir has a publication, all of them here. And Sir has conferences publication here, international national conferences in more than 40 here. So this is a very brief introduction about the Sir. So if we go in detail here, it will require another 10 to 15 minutes here. But I have to keep it brief so that you will get the benefit from his research experience here. So with this, Sir, so now I invite you for this session to take over. Sir. Sir, please.
Thank you, Sri Vishal, for giving a nice introduction. I would like to thank you once again with your team to invite me to give a talk on this FTP. So let me share the screen and tell all of you about a little bit which I understood or I know about IoT in healthcare. I don't know much about IoT in healthcare, but the little bit which I know I would like to share with all of you. So let me share the screen. Okay, is that visible to all of you?
Yes, sir. Now you can go for the full screen. It is perfectly visible, sir.
Okay, okay. Is that okay?
Yes, sir. Perfect, sir.
So as discussed with Dr. Sri Vishal, he told me to let you people know about Internet of Things for smart healthcare. So first of all, let us discuss about what is smart healthcare and what is IoT. If we talk about technology, if we think 10 years backward, 20 years backward, when we people were there in our BTechs, MTechs, or PhD, at that time technology was thinking in terms of luxury. But somehow, after this 10 years span of time, or we can say 20 years of span of the time, how it became necessity of our life, we don't know, right? Nowadays, IoT technology is our necessity. We have seen in this pandemic situation the scarcity of these technologies with us. Why? Because in this pandemic situation, everybody was trying to distance himself or herself. Suppose somebody has that corona, nobody was wanting to go and check the parameters whether that patient is actually having corona or that patient doesn't have the corona. We would have been the facility like some chamber fitted with IoT and all smart devices where somebody enters in that the chamber and devices fitted over there can check the candidate for corona or that corona positive or corona negative. And then once that person comes out from the chamber, then that chamber itself cleans and disinfect. After that, a second person enters and automatically all recorded data goes to somewhere in some server, in some data center, so that we should know how many people are exactly infected from corona, how many people are not infected from it. So this kind of necessity again reminded us that the need of Internet of Things is the, you can say, Internet of Things is the need, our dire need of the day. So let's talk about the smart healthcare and IoT. So healthcare service is a multidisciplinary field that emphasizes on various factors like financial system, social factors, health technologies, and organizational structures that affect the health care of individuals, family institutions, organizations, and population at large. The goal of healthcare services includes patient safety, timeliness, effectiveness, efficiency, and equity. Right? It means our goal for the healthcare services should be considering the patient safety, and timeliness means it should be time bounded, right? If somebody is having some problem, then he should get the solution at that moment of time, and effectiveness, and that should be very efficient. A smart healthcare comprises mobile health, e-health, electronic resource management, smart and intelligent home services, and medical devices. The Internet of Things is a system comprising of real-world things that interact and communicate with each other with the help of networking technologies. The wide range of potential applications of IoT includes healthcare services, IoT-enabled healthcare technologies are suitable for remote health monitoring, including rehabilitation, assisted ambient living, etc. Healthcare analytics can be applied to the collected data from different areas to improve healthcare with minimum expenditure. The Internet of Things enabled healthcare technologies are suitable for remote health monitoring with minimum expenditure. So all kinds of this Internet of Things, if you include sensors in Internet of Things, if somebody talks about Internet of Things, then nobody can forget about the sensors, because sensors are nothing but the integral part of IoT. If sensors are not there, then IoT is not there. But because all the information which we are receiving in the form of data, that is given by the sensors only. What I came to know that you people have already so many talks on IoT, how IoT works, and what is the architecture of IoT. So I thought I will just go through one or two slides on the introduction of IoT, because once you are talking about a major portion of IoT in either healthcare application or transportation application, and you don't even introduce, doesn't look good. That's why I thought to keep one or two slides. What is Internet of Things? The Internet of Things is a network of physical objects or things embedded with electronics, software, sensors, and network connectivity, which enables these objects to collect and exchange data. There may be a device-to-device communication, right? Machine-to-machine communication, machine-to-person communication, anything. Everything is connected with the internet, right? It is a concept reflecting a connected set of anyone, anything, anytime, any place, any server, and on any network. So everything is available on your platter, any point of time, any place, and any service you want, everything at one place, right? IoT-based solutions have been introduced for various application areas such as healthcare, water management, waste management, industrial control, so many more. How IoT works? Anything, what IoT works means, suppose if we take some example, right? If something is happening at somewhere, right? So somebody, if he is there and he has to report for an action taken by something or someone, right? Then he has to collect the data, and that collected data has to be communicated to that fellow who has to take the decision, and the fellow who is sitting over there who has to take the decision has to analyze the data for the kind of action, which kind of action he has to take, and then after deciding the action, he has to take action. The similar, these things which I told you in terms of one example where suppose there is a fight between two groups and somebody is standing over there and he has to do something over there, but he can't do. So what he will do, he will collect all the information and he will convey that information to certain police thana or somewhere, and then that police has to analyze that information and take action, whether he has to go alone or he has to go with so many people, or he has to take weapons or he doesn't have to take weapons, all those things. Similarly, over here in case of IoT, IoT means devices and sensors are collecting data everywhere, at home, manufacturing plant, or in car. It means the sensors are collecting the information, and then that information has to be sent somewhere. So to send that information somewhere, we need a communication channel, right? So that is nothing but communication. That after receiving that information at the place where that information has to be analyzed for the appropriate action. So all those things are nothing but this is the way how IoT works. Now this is a new term that is called the Internet of Everything. Not only Internet of Things, but Internet of Everything. So Internet of Everything is a network of networks where billions of connections create unprecedented opportunities as well as new risks, right? So Internet of Everything is the intelligent connection of people, process, data, and things. Everything is connected on the internet. This term has been coined by the Cisco and Qualcomm. The Internet of Everything has the potential to extract, analyze real-time data from the millions of sensors connected to it, and then to apply it to aid automated and people-based processes. So this is nothing but a Internet of Everything. Now let's talk about what is the status of Internet of Things in our country, right? So in our country, there is a draft policy on Internet of Things. If you go to MHRD website, you will find this draft policy that is not more than 20 pages. So anybody can go and read that policy, and this is very useful. Why? Because I can assume that the people who are attending this FDP will be more or less serving on the educational institutes. They can write project proposal and get some funding to start. So Indian government plan of developing 100 smart cities in the country, for which 7,060 crores of rupees has been allocated. And this will lead to a massive and quick expansion of IoT in the country. Digital India program, which aims at transforming India into digital empowered society and knowledge economy. This will provide the required impetus for development of the IoT industry in the country. The various initiatives are proposed to be taken under a smart city concept and the Digital India program to set up digital infrastructure in the country to help to boost the IoT industry. IoT will be critical in making these cities smarter. Some of the key aspects of a smart city will be smart parking, intelligent transport system, telecare, women safety, smart grids, smart lighting, digital signage, waste management, and smart city maintenance, etc. So see, over here, if you talk about IoT policy, then government is trying to invest a lot of money on this IoT. So if we talk about smart city, so we will be having a 90 to 99% infrastructure available, which can be used for healthcare also. This is not like that we are planning for a smart city and the infrastructure can only be used by the things which are improving the living conditions. So it means if you are thinking about improving the living conditions, then living conditions can only be improved if a person living in that city is happy and healthy. Okay, healthy can only be once we have all IoT infrastructure installed, right? So all those things are already there. So we can try for writing a project and get the funding from there to start IoT activity. Application of IoT, there are so many applications you might be knowing, so many experts might have discussed all those things, but we will discuss the only one application, that is medical and healthcare, in this talk. So applications are like medical and healthcare, building and home automation, smart city, environmental monitoring, smart industry, smart retail, smart agriculture, energy management, and automation. So we will keep our focus on medical and healthcare. So why IoT for healthcare? IoT, Internet of Things for healthcare, is taking momentum to address the following issues. Sorry. Making the healthcare accessible to remote area where people are deprived of good healthcare service due to several reasons. We know our country or the people of our country can only be happy once our last person of the country should have the reachability to each and every healthcare program or each and every institute, university, or each and everything which is easily accessible by the people living in cities. Okay, so our major population in India living in villages. So if our villagers are happy, then we can say that our country is happy. So to access the best healthcare systems for the poor people or from the people who are deprived from these facilities can only be possible if IoT is there in place. Because you cannot create a huge amount of infrastructure in each and every village. That is not possible altogether. But the facilities which have been already created in cities can be accessed by the last person through IoT. Why? We see our Prime Minister always said that he is connecting so many villages through this internet line, right? So I think all the villages in India, 80%, 25% villages are India are connected to the internet. So information can be received from those places and can be sent to those places. So the only thing is that we have to create IoT infrastructure to generate the information from village side and receive that information from village side to different centers or different facilities which has to be used by the villagers and send the particular solution through internet. In case of emergency, patient's information can be communicated to avoid delay in treatment, right? Suppose somebody is corona positive, right? We are thinking that we are 1 month, 2 months ago, we were very much worried about that. What will happen if this corona spreads in villages? Doesn't matter. If we have IoT infrastructure put in place, then we can create some non-permanent structures, which I discussed at the beginning of the talk. We can create some infrastructures between the villages. Villager can go just lock inside that facility, and through IoT we can test whether he is corona positive or not. So and if he is corona positive, then on his mobile we can prescribe the medicine as well as the necessary actions has to be taken by that person, means isolation and what kind of lifestyle he has to follow, all those things. So that is nothing but a hardware and software co-design. So the integration of hardware with software and different apps with the integration of sensors and communication systems, which we are calling IoT about, can help for in tackling with different medical problems. So reduction of manual patient data entry by medical staff so they can monitor the cases efficiently. So there is, suppose IoT is there in place, then there should not be any manual entry, right? Various distributed devices gather, analyze, and pass real-time medical information to the cloud, and making it possible to collect, store, and analyze the big data streams in several new forms and activate context-dependent alarms. Used in wearable, environmental, and vision-based sensors, application in blood glucose, pulse rate, blood pressure, and heart activity monitoring. Let's talk about certain applications coming in everybody's mind. Suppose we are saying seeing the scarcity of the doctors to tackle this huge population. Just think about one example. Suppose you think of that you are going to visit a particular doctor and he is the best doctor for certain disease. Then either you have to keep appointment 5 days ago, or you have to go over there and wait over there, right? Okay? And after waiting, he will call you. Suppose you got entry, he will see all the physical parameters, right? Like heartbeat, like blood pressure, and he will see all the medical history. After analyzing all those things, during this process, when the doctor analyzes the patient, takes near about 20 to 25 minutes, right? Suppose we apply IoT over here in this simple problem. So then we can reduce a ample amount of time. How can we do that? Suppose there is a one app available with us. We want to visit, suppose we want to go for cardiac surgery. Then we will see his schedule. Based on his schedule, we will take an appointment online, and we will make online payment. After the confirmation we received that suppose 9:15 in the morning I have to reach to the clinic. So I will reach by 9:10. At 9:15, 9:10 to 9:15, a person sitting over there, he is not the doctor, but he is assisting the doctor, some assistant, will take all the parameters, means all the necessary parameters based on the description of disease you already entered into the app. So he will take all the parameters and give those parameters entered into that app, right, in the database. As soon as you reach the doctor, all the parameters, all the medical history, everything is there in front of the doctor. And by seeing that history, he can prescribe the medicine to you, right? And he will prescribe the medicine not to you, he will prescribe the medicine in that app. and that prescription will go to the nearest medical store, and that medical store is controlled by the government authorities. Okay, and once you go over there, you don't have to do anything. You just pay through your Paytm or through your credit card and get all the medicines done. So over there with those medicines, how to use those medicines, how to take medicines, that slip is also there. So by doing little, introducing a little IoT in this process, you are saving a lot of time, you are saving a lot of money. Why? Because once you go in the market to buy certain medicine, then the rates of medicines are varying very high, right? Highly varying. So all those things can be controlled by IoT. So you are receiving saving a lot of time. That lot of time is saving not only for you, that saving is also for the person who is behind in that row. Okay, so you have so much time, but the time saved by you, that is a 25 minutes, is also for the other person. So he can see many patients. Okay, so the efficiency of the doctor will be high if we put simple small IoT in place. So IoT for just a minute. Uh, Healthcare trends. So IoT-based healthcare services are expected to reduce costs, increase the quality of life, and enrich the user's experience. So that's what I told you in one example. From the perspective of healthcare providers, the IoT has the potential to reduce device downtime through remote provision. Right? Ease of cost-effective interactions through seamless and secure connectivity across individual patients, clinics, and healthcare organizations is an important. If you talk about IoT healthcare system architecture, so in IoT healthcare system architecture, there will be what? Product infrastructure, sensors, connectivity, data analytics. In data analytics, you are doing diagnostics, event-based actions, predictions, descriptive, and then there is an application platform. So what is product infrastructure? Product infrastructure means hardware or software component read the sensor signals, and display them to a dedicated device. Then sensors has different sensor devices such as pulse oximeter, electrocardiogram, thermometer, drug level sensor, sphygmomanometer for blood pressure that read the current patient situation. Connectivity. Connectivity provides better connectivity using Bluetooth, Wi-Fi of devices or sensors from microcontroller to server and vice versa to read data. Then analytics. Healthcare system analyzes the data from sensors and correlate to get healthy parameters of the patient to upgrade the patient health. Then application platform. IoT system access information to healthcare professional on their monitor device for all patients with all details. Right? Now, let's discuss about very promising example over here. Every day in the newspapers during this Corona time, we were reading that so many oxygen cylinders are selling in black. 5,000 rupee cylinder people are selling in 20,000, 25,000, 30,000. And some people were saying that there are not enough infrastructure available. Because of that, so many patients died. Because I heard also few cases which were very close to me, that they tried to visit hospital, but no oxygen facility was there in ICU. And because of that, he or she died. Now, we can think of implementing IoT. And the second, and the other way around, what government is saying, that they had enough oxygen cylinders available to cater all the needs of the society. So there is a contradiction. Means a person is dying, because of the scarcity of the oxygen cylinder, and the other way around, the government is saying that they have or they had all the things or cylinders, ample cylinders to fulfill the needs of the patients. We can always introduce technology to get the real truth or to get the things done. How we can do it? Suppose there are IoT in place and certain patient is coming to the hospital. Then hospital has to enter that patient if there is a bed vacant and proper facilities in ICU are available. And that information should be open to all public. It means there should be a portal where you can go and click on that hospital and see whether bed is available or not. If bed is available or not, then the ICU facility is available or not. All the things are there on the web page or on the app. Based on that, a patient will go. Right? Now, suppose all the oxygen cylinders, all the vendors who provide the oxygen cylinders, they have all the data entered into the system, and we make that mandatory that if you are producing 100 cylinders or 1000 cylinders, you have to enter into it. So every information is available online in front of our eyes. So nobody can cheat us, right? And we can save so many number of lives. IoT for healthcare infrastructure. The main objective of IoT is connecting devices with one another. IoT infrastructure consists of terminal devices, communication, and cloud infrastructure. Sensors are controllers, right? IoT platforms are a combination of functions from multiple vendors, which includes the following. Only one vendor is not there. So it means IoT doesn't mean that only one device is there. Thousands of devices, billions of devices altogether, and billions of devices cannot be made by one manufacturer. So there will be thousands of manufacturers, right? So what is the problem? It means the problem of seamless integration of those devices. Okay, so there should be a standard protocol set up so that those devices should be integrated all together without any loss of generality, right? There should not be any problem in connecting one device to another. So sensors are controllers, software to analyze and interpret the data, a gateway device to transfer data back and forth to the data network, a communication network to send data, signed application services, creating much of the value, and different types of protocols such as CoAP, AMQP, HTTP, MQTT are supported by IoT platform. Then the Internet of Things for healthcare network topology. The IoT network for healthcare is one of the vital elements of the IoT in healthcare. It supports access to the IoT backbone facilities, the transmission and reception of medical data, and enables the use of healthcare tailored communications. This figure over here, this figure represents the net topology with an intelligent healthcare gateway. So here iMed box, this is a gateway, then biochip, biopatch, iMed pack, RFID chip, all those information is coming to iMed box, and then iMed box is saying that sending that information to Health IoT Cloud. So it supports IoT backbone, facilitates the transmission and reception of medical data, and enables the use of healthcare tailored communication. This figure represents the IoTH net topology, Internet of Things healthcare net topology, which shows the role of a gateway. So this is working like a gateway. The intelligent pharmaceutical packaging, this is called iMed Pack, is an IoT device which manages the problem of medicine misuse, thereby ensuring pharmaceutical compliance. The intelligent medicine box, iMed box, is a healthcare gateway with an array of various required sensors and interfaces of multiple wireless standards. Various wearable sensors and IoT devices are wirelessly connected to healthcare gateways, connecting the patient's environment to the Health IoT Cloud. This IoT SNet platform. The IoT SNet platform refers to the network problem model and the computing platform. Okay. So this framework shows a systematic hierarchical model of how caregivers or agents can access various databases from the application layer with the help of a support layer. A similar concept of data center platform on as the middleware between smart objects and the business layer can also be found. So you can see a functional framework of a health information service model. So then data persons layer is a health record database and all those things. Then support layer, where health record, data organization, data structure, basic information of the system. Then there is a business implementation layer where personal health records, business and diagnosis. Then accessing layer where community health center, hospital, personal devices. So this is the Internet of Things for healthcare net platform. Then connected health. So if you talk about connected health, then in connected health, there should be a health monitoring device. Then with that health monitoring device, the person should be monitored continuously. That is called ongoing monitoring. Then if you are monitoring the person continuously, then you can think of the amount of data is getting generated from those devices, right? Then after that, big data, then connectivity, then scale technology. So all together, you can say this is a connected health, where remote monitoring is done and ongoing monitoring towards the patient side. And remote monitoring means all the data is monitored by the person who is sitting over there. So based on the information and the data, if there is certain abbreviations or certain observations are coming which are very critical, then he can trigger the alarm or send something. All those things can be done over here. This is called connected. Till this point, if you have any questions, please ask. Okay. If no questions are there, then I'll continue. Now, Internet of Things for healthcare system model. So Internet of Things for healthcare system model means you are monitoring the parameters. Right? Some patient is there with a wireless body area network where all the sensors are placed. Whether that is you are finding out the respiratory rate, or pulse, or fall detection. Then there is a central node, or you want to find out the gate detection. And then that central node is collecting the data from the all sensors and sending it to the base station. And from that base station, there is a machine learning enabled cloud. From there, the information is reaching to the different people. Okay, so that cloud is analyzing all the information, and based on the data received, that cloud is making decisions. Cloud in the sense machine learning algorithms or artificial intelligence algorithms sitting over there, taking the decisions based on the stored patterns or thresholds or whatever it is. Then the result of that is going to the general practitioner, specialist, nurse, and carer. Okay, and based on the information received from the cloud, these general practitioners can send their inputs again. So wearable sensor nodes measure physiological conditions. Recommended sensors measure the vital signs, pulse, respiratory rate, body temperature, and these signs are essential for determination of critical health. Special purpose sensors are the like blood glucose sensors, fall detection, and joint angle sensors, which could be implemented for systems targeting a specific condition. So data transfer from sensor nodes to external location via central nodes, and dedicated central nodes would be preferred to a smartphone. Then wearable healthcare system. So nowadays you might be listening so many things, right? So many gadgets are available in the market, like smart glasses, smart watch, smart shirt, right? then SGPS, GPRS, body control, then Bluetooth key tracker, smart shoes, smart socks, smart pants, smart belt, smart ring, smart finger, smart bracelet. All those wearable things are nowadays are available in the market. So wireless body area network is a key component of healthcare system founded on Internet of Things technology. There are 5 fundamental sensors: pulse sensors, respiratory rate sensors, body temperature sensors, blood pressure sensors, pulse oximetry sensors. So wearable devices are used for monitoring the physical activity of the user. And I think everybody, those who are participating in this FDP, if they have a smartphone, they have more or less at least 5 to 10 apps will be there in their mobile phones for medical assistance. So wearable healthcare system, pulse sensors mostly read vital sign. Pulse is used to detect to a wide range of emergency conditions such as cardiac arrest, pulmonary embolism, etc. Pulses can be read from various body parts such as chest, wrist, earlobe, fingertip reading, right? A chest bond system is variable, but these sensors are more comfortable for long-run wearable systems. Several fitness tracking chest straps and wrist watches are available such as HRM Tri by Garmin, S7 by Polar, TomTom Spark Cardio, all those are available. Different sensors for pulse are pressure, photolithomographic, ultrasonic radio frequency sensors are also available. So if you talk about respiratory rate sensors, you see in the figure, this is where elastic strip is there, then respiratory rate sensor, then heartbeat sensor over here, and all those things are connected with the fiber optic cable. And this box is not all conditioning box, right? In this conditioning box, a lot of things has been done. This conditioning box collects the data, and data is of very low amplitude, right? And then during the conditioning, see, these sensors are not 100% perfect sensors, right? Nothing can be 100% if that is created by a human being, right? We all know. So it means sensors are receiving the signal, the desired signal, as well as they are also receiving the background noise. So this conditioning part, condition the signal means it will do the amplification and noise reduction. All those things will be done over here in this box. And then after conditioning, the signal will go to the physiology monitor, right? So here will be more or less the clean signal will be here. This is called respiratory rate sensor. So monitoring respiration could aid in the identification of asthma attack, hyperventilation due to panic attacks, lung cancer, obstruction in the airway, tuberculosis. Then different sensors including nasal, echocardiogram, fiber optic, pressure type, stress sensors, and use of microphone to measure respiration. Nasal sensor is based on thermistors in which air exhale is warmer than the ambient temperature. So stress sensors recommended with machine learning algorithms in future to improve robustness. Electrocardiogram signal can also be used to obtain respiration rate. This is called ECG derived respiration. That is called EDR. Then blood pressure sensors. Blood pressure sensor, it is not a vital sign, and high BP gives information about cardiovascular disease, including heart attack. Challenge to design wearable sensor to monitor blood pressure continuously, right? It is very challenging to monitor the design hardware to measure blood pressure. Sri Vishal might be remembering those days when we were working for the project EASA, and Vivek Agrawal and others were doing this, right? And we faced a lot of difficulties to actually design this kind of sensor. Ultimately, we purchased. So, pulse transmit time, PTT, and different techniques used to measure blood pressure. Systolic blood pressure, SBP, and is typically determined using an electrocardiogram on the chest and a PPG sensor on the ear. These are alternate location. Pulse oximetry sensor. Pulse oximetry measures the level of oxygen in the blood. It is not a vital sign but an indicator of respiratory function and aid in diagnostics of conditions such as hypoxia, low oxygen reaching the body's tissue. Pulse oximeter measures blood oxygen by obtaining PPG signals. Pulse oximeters are worn as a finger clip wired to a medical monitor. Anybody, one of us who is there in the PFDP, can elaborate on this pulse oximeter sensors with the current pandemic, the dire need of pulse oximetry sensor in this current pandemic. Anybody can talk on this, right? Because everybody knows the gravity of this sensor nowadays. Anyone? Okay. So nowadays, government has also said that please keep this pulse oximeter at your home. That is not costing beyond 1500 rupees. And our academic institutions, there was an office order mentioning that please buy pulse oximeter and you will be reimbursed up to 1500 rupees. I don't know, but I have received an office order at my institute from the higher authorities. They said that you can buy a pulse oximeter and reimbursement of 1500 rupees can be done. You can get it reimbursed. What was the need? The need was that suppose in this pandemic situation, suppose you are coughing, right? So initial days, you cannot bifurcate whether you have corona or you don't have corona. Because once corona was not there last year, then nobody was thinking of corona, and everybody was, and every season, everybody, we all have one kind or other kind of fever, right? That can be a viral fever, or that can be a seasonal flu. But nowadays, everybody, if you are going somewhere and coughing, then everybody will be thinking like that, yeah, this corona person is going. So that kind of situation. So suppose you have a fever. There is advice from the doctors that if you have a fever or you are coughing, don't worry. Keep this pulse oximeter with you and keep on checking your oxygen saturation level. If your oxygen saturation level is okay, then you don't have to worry. You can take simple paracetamol and take rest. It means that will be a normal fever. That cannot be a corona kind of situation. But if you have a oxygen saturation level below certain threshold, that could be below 95 or below some value, I think, per my understanding, that is 95. If your oxygen saturation level is going below 95, then you have to visit the doctor. At that moment of time, you have to visit the doctor. Means there is no panic at all. But now you have to visit the doctor and get your corona checked, right? At that time. Otherwise, no need to worry. If your oxygen saturation level is okay, you be there at your home. So that's why this device, pulse oximeter, is nowadays in very much demand. Then body temperature sensors, the third vital sign in body temperature, which can be used to detect hypothermia, heat stroke, fevers, and more. Useful diagnostic tools to be included in wearable healthcare system for measuring body temperature. Use of thermistor type sensors, negative temperature coefficient, that is NTC, and positive temperature coefficient PTC types temperature sensors are used. The accuracy of temperature sensing is limited by how closely the sensor can be placed to the human body. The MAX 3205 EMP 117 is used to measure human body temperature. Now, we have talked about sensors. Okay? We have talked about, so in IoT, Internet of Things, let's talk about communication standards. What kind of communication standards people are following, our researchers are following, our devices are following. So communication related to Internet of Things for healthcare can be classified into two main categories. One is short-range communication and the second one is long-range communication. So in short-range communications, the short-range communication used between sensor nodes and the central node where data processing occurs. Okay. Several requirements has to be considered for choosing short-range communication standards. The chosen method should have no negative effects on the human body and also provide a strong security mechanism. Many short-range communication standards, we all know that those short-range communications are Bluetooth Low Energy and Zigbee. There are some examples are like Bluetooth Low Energy and Zigbee. So let's talk about Bluetooth Low Energy. So everybody knows Bluetooth, right? Ultimately, suppose we want to connect our mobile phone once we are going to visit some places via our own vehicle, then we generally 90-95% people love to listen music during driving. So they just connect their car audio, the mobile phone through this Bluetooth and start playing the audio. Okay, so this is nothing but Bluetooth. So Bluetooth Low Energy is nothing. It's aimed to enable IoT connecting small peripheral devices to processing devices such as smartphones. Used in star topology, and center node would act as the center of the star topology. Range is 150 meter and much less in non-ideal conditions. It has low latency, 3 millisecond, and high data rate of 1 Mbps. It operates in 2.4 gigahertz band and power consumption is very low. It is robust to interference. Then Zigbee. Zigbee, we all know, right? The Zigbee standards were designed. The standard was designed by the Zigbee Alliance. Alliance provides low cost, low power networks for M2M communications. The simplest Zigbee has a range up to 30 meters in an urban environment and outputs only 1 milliwatt of power for transmission. It carries small packets of data over medium distance and information is transferred from one node to web nodes. It operates at a range of frequency 868 MHz, 900 MHz, and 2.4 GHz bands depending on the module. It provides robustness to interference and several security mechanisms. Then long-range communications. So long-range communications are also like low-power wide area network (LPWANs) are a subset of long-range communication standards for IoT applications. In this network, in-device eye sensors are connected to gateways which transfer data to other devices and network servers. The network devices access the received data and control the end devices. The protocols are specially designed for long-range capabilities, low-power devices, and reduced operating costs. Suitable for large number of healthcare applications, including monitoring general health and receiving hourly updates, monitoring critical health, and receiving emergency calls and rehabilitation. The most prominent standards for LPWANs, long range, long power wide area networks are Sigfox, LoRaWAN, LoRaWAN, and NB-IoT, having low latency and high quality error correction capabilities. So what is Sigfox? The Sigfox is a cellular style, long range, low power, low data rate from the wireless communications. It provides wireless connectivity for devices like remote sensors, actuators, and M2M and IoT devices. Sigfox is able to provide a low data rate connection at very last cost for many M2M and IoT applications. Uses a star topology and nodes are designed to be uplink for improving battery efficiency. Operates in two bands, one is 868 MHz, that is called European, and 915 MHz as US, which allows to occupy wider bandwidth. Opted to maximize range around 9.5 km in urban areas with 100 Bps data rate. Has high network capacity and support 5,000 nodes with single gateway. So this is Sigfox. Then LoRa or LoRaWAN. So it is a physical layer protocol that utilizes chirp spread spectrum techniques over a wide bandwidth of at least 12 kHz. It is low power, low range wireless platform for IoT network worldwide. LoRaWAN is built on top of the LoRa standards in the network layer. LoRaWAN also has a high network capacity, ensuring many messages can be passed over at the network at the same time. Messages can travel over a range of around 7.2 km in an urban area at a rate of 0.25 to 5.5 kbps. LoRaWAN operates in the unlicensed bands of 868 MHz and 915 MHz. And these standards provide security by assigning a unique key to each node on the network. And LoRaWAN is well suited for healthcare application due to its range, latency, and network capacity. Then NB-IoT. NB-IoT operates in the licensed bands of GSM or LTE and provides long-range, low-power communications. NB-IoT can be deployed in three ways: in-band, guard band, and standalone. Used in band mode to reserve LTE physical resource blocks from existing LTE network. In guard band mode, NB-IoT utilizes the bandwidth of an existing LTE carrier's guard band, having a high receiver sensitivity of 164 dB and range up to 15 km. Speed remains relatively high with a maximum uplink data rate of 250 kbps. NB-IoT can also support a minimum of 52,547 nodes per base station, and it is highly suitable for healthcare. Now we'll discuss about cloud-based IoT healthcare system. Any question till this point?
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Sir, my question is very simple. That when any sensor senses the information, means
Right.
body sensor or the pulse sensor, then how it communicate with other nodes? Because to transfer the information, we need some communication device.
Right.
So, is it associated with some antennas or some wearable devices? Any sense?
So see, once data is sensed, right? The data is sensed, then there will be either conditioning available at the sensor node side, or there is a device which is doing conditioning. Through conditioning, there is a gateway. Through that gateway, that data goes. Sensors, all those sensors can be connected through wirelessly or a wired way.
Okay. But to transmit the signals means it should be connected with some device, wearable devices or antenna. Like body sensor is sensing, temperature sensing is has taken senses the temperature. Then how it will transfer the information?
Suppose suppose there is a body. Let's take an example of.
So basically, I'm new on IoT. That's why I'm asking this question.
That's what. Actually, so the thing is that one sensor senses the information. Then in wideband area network, so body area network, there will be antenna connected to it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So through that antenna, that information will be transmitted.
So that antenna will be means associated with the body.
That antenna may be associated with the body area network, or that antenna maybe a small antenna can be available over there.
Okay.
Okay, sir, if you allow, may I answer this question?
Yeah, you can answer the questions.
Okay. So, Dr. Nipun here, related to your questions here, what you asked, how this information transmission will take place here. So, as we have discussed in the morning session also, here, there is will be only two possibility for the transmission of information. Either it could be guided or could be unguided. Whenever we are talking guided way, there should be a wired connection from source to end here. Correct? Either a sensor or any form of source where the data is generating, whatever the form we are considering. It could be sensors or any other form here. So if it is guided here, there should be wired connections here. And the rest of the mode here, there should be an antenna system which will be responsible for transmission of information from one place to the another place here. Correct? So all those devices, all those sensors, either they will be having a connection directly here, just as I was saying, there will be some Bluetooth or other mode of communications here. So on those routes, it could be a wireless here. So they're not connected directly. For example, if you say through the mobile phones here, Whenever we walk around here, if you install some of the applications here, they will count your foot steps here. They will take about your breath rates here. So a lot of information they could gather here. So how they are able to gather? Because there are sensors, they are attached with those devices, and they are just as near to you here. So that proximity helping them to count or measure those sensitive information related to your personal care here. So this way things will move on here. So whenever there is a the two devices are not involved directly here, so this communication will be taken place through the antenna systems here. There is no other alternate route.
Let me give one more example that you
Yes,
must
sir,
have
please.
seen that Apple Watch, right? Or any watch, any smart watch which people wear generally for monitoring their parameters like heart rate, heartbeat, okay, and footsteps, how many kilometers they walk, and all those things. How many times they uh, uh, put a step into the stairs. So that, first of all, what you do, you connect that smartwatch via Bluetooth to your phone, right? Okay, right. So this data is wirelessly transferred from these sensors which are fitted in the Apple Watch or smartwatch to your mobile phone through Bluetooth technology, right? Okay. So similarly, as Srivishal said, that may be wired and that may be unwired, and data may be transferred. I think now you are clear with this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So cloud-based IoT healthcare system. So cloud computing means a type of internet-based computing where different services, including servers, storage, and applications, are delivered to an organization's computers and devices through the internet. In healthcare system, cloud computing has changed the whole system by converging all the data stored on hard disks or servers to the internet for better research and quickly assessing the situation by easy access to the data around the world. Right? Ultimately, suppose you are connecting this IoT system. Suppose for your organization you are creating an IoT system for certain applications, right? And you are logging the data into your computer. Okay. And some other fellows doing some other activity or same activity, doing the same thing and collecting the data at their server. So collecting all those data in different servers can only be used by the people who are collecting the data, right? So for research purposes, okay, now we can create a cloud, okay? In that cloud, everybody is storing that data, right? So at the time of need, we can share the data for our own understanding for further research. This is the one thing which is cloud-based, means storing of the data. Now the thing is that suppose we also put a computing over there, right? It means you don't have to do anything at your place. You can also get the computation facility over cloud. So everybody is getting the computation facility over the cloud and analyzing the data over there itself and getting the results. So you can also place all machine learning algorithms over the cloud, all the data over the cloud, processing is also done, data storing is also done, and the end result can be received from that place only. Right. So cloud technology is widely used in big data management, processing, and analytics. There are various advantages of cloud in healthcare system. What are those advantages? Collaboration and knowledge sharing. You can collaborate and share the knowledge, and improve medical research so that by sharing the knowledge and the data, see, everything is nothing but a data, right? Nowadays you can say data is money, right? If you have data, because so many people are selling the data, right? So improved medical research, remote reach in times of disaster and lack of resources, remote patient care, lower cost and easier storage. So you don't have to create a lot of infrastructure for storing the data and keeping all the data storage school. A huge amount of computing is required and all those things. The mobile application-based remote health monitoring IoT data are stored in the cloud platform. Cloud computing offers flexibility, scalability, and more resources to process the data. The IoT data are obtained from different sensors and effectively stored at the cloud site server called a cloud storage repository. By using cloud technology, researchers' medical processes are integrated into the cloud and enhance healthcare. Based on the emergency alert, messages sent to the doctors, hospitals, and caretakers. So this is what IoT medical devices and user subsystem data acquisitions. They are collecting the data, and there is a fog layer. Okay. After that fog layer, there is a gateway device. That data goes to cloud subsystem. So in this cloud subsystem, there is storage, there is computation facility, there are machine learning algorithms available, artificial intelligence based algorithms are available, and they are analyzing the data and sending the alerts to the users. Okay, so it means you don't have to do anything. So these are the IoT healthcare products. Many of them you might be knowing, like Withings BP, Baby Monitor, Owlet, HelloBand, Imo, all those kinds of products. Thousands of products are available. Then, in the case of connected health devices, there is a smart tracker. The Tempo Care Predict is a wearable and sensing technology which senses daily activity and behavior patterns like eating, sleeping, walking, sitting. All those kind of behavior can be monitored by this smart tracker. The wearable part is sensor that track motion and changes wirelessly. The other part of the system are the receivers, beacons spread throughout at home to determine location, and a hub that serves as the main connection to the software. Here, Predict Tempo records the user's activities in an online journal or database. Any changes in pattern will be shared as an alert. The Tempo is having other features like two-way voice, button press, keyless access control. Also has other sensors for environment monitoring. This is smart track. Other devices, medical necklace. So many people have heard about this medical necklace, right? You just wear this medical necklace and install the app in your mobile phone and connect through Bluetooth or some other connecting gateway through mobile phones or some other device and get many parameters measured. So COVA necklace tool developed by Perminova company of California measures the number of vital signs, thoracic blood levels, record heart rate, respiration rate, heart rate variability, stroke volume, cardiac output, single rate ECG, and posture. COVA TM2 is a low-cost, easy-to-use monitoring system featuring three primary components. One is necklace, second is gateway, and third is web-based systems. What is necklace? It is a body-worn sensor. This is a body-worn sensor. Measures vital signs and sends information to gateway via Bluetooth. So over here, if you see sensors is there, Dr. Nipun, and then these sensors are sending the information via Bluetooth. Receives necklace generated information and forward it to web-based system via a Wi-Fi or cellular system. Web-based systems receives and displays information from the gateway and forwards to external customer system, electronic medical records, or remote monitoring portals. Then GlucoDoc. GlucoDoc, it is a blood glucose monitoring module to detect the glucose level in human body. Right? It can be used in combination with iPhone, iPod, iPad. Nowadays, so many sensors are also available, which you can connect with any platform, right? Attach glucometer to any of these three devices and measure your blood sugar. Place a drop of blood on the test strip, insert it into the GlucoDoc, and results are visible within seconds. Okay? It can also keep track of medication and food intake. The Medisana GlucoDoc have some features like measuring range between 20 to 600 mg per dl, hematocrit value, STC, operating conditions, uses of electrochemical biosensor technology. Then HAPI fork. So this kind of electronic fork is available with an app. So it will monitor your eating habits. Okay. So it is an electronic fork that helps you measure and track eating habits. It gives precise information about your eating schedule. It alerts with the help of indicator lights when eating too fast. HAPI fork also measures how long it took to eat your meal, the amount of fork serving taken per minute, intervals between fork servings. Okay, and this information is uploaded via USB or Bluetooth to online dashboard to track progress. Then IoT healthcare services and applications. So IoT healthcare services are like, first of all, we'll discuss about services. Services are ambient assisted living, Internet of Health, adverse drug reactions, community healthcare, children health information, wearable device access, semantic medical access, indirect emergency healthcare, embedded gateway configuration, embedded context prediction. Then what are the applications? Applications as we discussed, right? Like glucose level sensing, ECG monitoring, blood pressure monitoring, body temperature monitoring, oxygen saturation monitoring. Okay, and then what are the clustered conditions? Clustered conditions are like, these are the single conditions, single parameters you are observing. For clustered condition, rehabilitation system, medication management, wheelchair management, imminent healthcare, smartphone healthcare solutions. Then there is an IoT-based electrocardiogram monitor. IoT-based ECG monitoring system composed of wireless acquisition transmitter and a wireless receiving processor. Biosignals are collected by ECG sensors. The collected data are sent to cloud. Medical staffs can analyze the health-related data in real time. Cardiocore, an example of wireless ECG monitoring device. Then IoT-based glucose level meter. There are so many, like diabetes is a metabolic disease in which glucose level is very high. Monitoring the glucose levels help meal planning, physical activity, and medication times. Glucose sensors devices are used to check glucose levels. It notifies the doctors and patients if any abnormal situation occurs. So Dexcom develops continuous glucose monitoring devices. Then IoT-based blood pressure monitor. We already have seen these kind of instruments available in the market, right? Then IoT based asthma treatment, that is called ADAM. I think 90-95% of the people attending the workshop might be knowing this ADAM. Right? So asthma is lifelong chronic disease that cannot be cured but only controlled. We all know that asthma cannot be cured. We can only control the asthma. Inhaler is commonly used to give proper doses of drugs. Smart inhalers are sensors that can track when puffs are taken via GPS. Okay? The automated device for asthma monitoring and management, ADAM, is wearable patch type monitoring device connected with Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. ADAM detects symptoms, tracking cough rate, heartbeat, temperature, respiration patterns, and any other asthma symptoms. The best feature of ADAM is the voice journaling feature. Okay, so it can always alarm you that now you are facing the problem. You have to take your inhaler. With this, there are certain IoT healthcare challenges. As much of the Internet of Medical Things seems to be revolutionary and highly efficient, there are still some major challenges of IoT in healthcare. The main challenges are less computational capability, not able to perform expensive operations, possibly lack of available memory, energy limitations, sensors has low power battery, difficulties with regular updates, designing mobile-enabled algorithms are challenged, designing scalable algorithms without compromising security is challenge. Some wearable devices like sensors make uncomfortable for the patient's body. Privacy as the device are more vulnerable to the attack. These are the challenges in case of healthcare. Other things, those challenges are not very critical, but in the case of healthcare, challenges are very critical. Why? Because all of us don't like to share our medical data with anyone other than the doctor. And the doctor when we are in need. Otherwise, we don't share with the doctor. Right? Hamari habit kya hai? What is our habit? Suppose we are suffering with fever and high cough. It's a simple problem. Suffering with high fever and cough. You go to doctor. I think everybody just think of a minute about anyone which you have made in past. Once you go to doctor पूछता है कि आपको ये प्रॉब्लम कितने दिन से है, तो आप बोलते हो बस डॉक्टर साहब कल नहीं परसों शाम से हुई थी और मैंने सोचा 1-2 दिन में ठीक हो जाएगी, नहीं ठीक हुई इसलिए मैं आपके पास आया. मतलब 90 to 95% पीपल डोंट टेल द ट्रूथ. नहीं डॉक्टर साहब 5 दिन पहले से आया था और मैंने 5 तरीके की दवाइयाँ ट्राई कर ली हैं, वो जब हमारे समझ में नहीं आई हैं तो मैं आपके पास आया हूँ. राइट? if this is the situation, once you have a simple cough and fever, and you did not visit the doctor for 5 days, and then you go on 6th day and tell the doctor not complete truth, then you can think of other serious problems which people are facing, would like to share the data, right? So this is very problematic situation where people don't want to share the data. This is the primary problem altogether. Now the second thing is that suppose they are ready to share the data, then once the information is out from yourself, then that is unpublic. Okay, anybody, any point of time, anyone can share that information with anyone, right? Over there, suppose the data is stored, anybody can steal that data. So what is the challenge? What is the next challenge is to make that data secure. Okay. And the third thing is that once you collect a huge amount of data, because in healthcare you are continuously collecting the data from the sensors, then where will you store that huge amount of data? Okay. And the third thing is that once you are trying to analyze the data, then you need a huge amount of computational complexity, right? Okay. So what kind of computational complexity you will handle, right? How many servers, how many node computers, how many things, how many GPUs will be requiring for computing that kind of data. So nowadays, suppose we are trying to apply machine learning or artificial intelligence algorithm, then running algorithm we have like in NVIDIA GPUs and other things, right? And we try to compute. Okay, in our educational institutes, we have all these facilities available. So suppose we would like to run our algorithms on medical data or medical image processing, then we put that program, run that program on GPU, and program runs for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, sometimes for even communication signals. We run our program and that program runs for 24 hours, 36 hours. Yeah. That is also a very difficult problem in front of us to realize or analyze the healthcare data in a proper time, right? And the fourth thing is that everybody doesn't have the computational facilities. So can we design algorithms, machine learning or artificial intelligence based algorithms, which can run on our mobile phone rather than running on cloud, running on GPUs? Okay, so all those problems are there, all those challenges are there. Those challenges need to be tackled. Then challenges of IoT-based system means security and privacy, address shortages within the IPv4 infrastructure, connectivity, power consumption. No, and there is no common standard protocol. Security requirements for IoT-based healthcare solutions are similar to those in standard communication scenarios. One is confidentiality, second is integrity, third is authentication, fourth is availability, and then fifth is non-repudiation, and then fifth is authorization. So all those things you know. Confidentiality means it ensures medical data that is not accessible by unauthorized users. Confidential message resists revealing their content to eavesdroppers. Integrity ensures the medical data is not altered by any third party. The integrity of stored data and content should not be compromised. Authentication means it ensures the identity from which the data is coming. Availability means it ensures the accessibility of IoT healthcare services to authorized user. Then non-repudiation indicates that a node cannot deny sending a message sent earlier. Authorization means ensure that only authorized nodes are accessible for network services or resources. And there are benefits of IoT in healthcare are like you can monitor the patient's health condition remotely, decrease operational costs, better patient experience, reduced errors, improved outcomes of treatment, improved disease management, and accessibility. And disadvantages of IoT in healthcare we already discussed. That there are global healthcare regulations, unauthorized access to centralization, and privacy can be potentially undermined. Till this point, if you have any question, otherwise I go ahead and tell you two projects which we have completed at IIT Jodhpur in terms of IoT implementation in healthcare.
I think so. There's no questions here, so you can continue. And
Okay.
sir, there is 123 years, so little bit quickly, sir, wind up, sir.
Okay. Let me take few more minutes.
Okay, sir. Please, please.
I will not go through the slides, but I will tell you my experience of eASA and one more two applications we developed. One is for elderly and one is for childcare. Let me
Yes.
tell you a little story. According to me,
Yeah.
according to my point of view, that we need to cater the needs of two extremes. Two extreme means if we cater the need of the children and if we cater the needs of elderly through IoT, then in between everything will be fulfilled. What my idea is that to monitor a person from his conception in his mother's womb, right? So what we did, we created an application that is called eASA through IoT. Over there are so many ASA nurses in every block, PHC, right? Primary healthcare center, every village, every city, right? So generally these ASA nurses goes to villages and see whether some lady is pregnant or not. If that lady is pregnant, then they start monitoring and maintaining the registers. But that was an old process. What we thought, we should connect all those pregnant ladies with the ASA, with the primary healthcare center, with the ambulance, everywhere through the simple mobile device. So with the help of UNICEF, there's a long story behind it, how I get motivated for this and all those things. It will take a lot of time, but I will not go into it. So with the help of EASA, with the help of UNICEF, we developed application that is called EASA for antenatal counseling and postnatal counseling, right? And then up to the childhood care, up to the 5 years. Suppose a child is in, a lady has conceived a child, so asanas will start monitoring that lady since the conception of the child, and it will monitor the mother as well as child till 5 years of the age of the child. Everything is there, vaccination is there, what time vaccination is there, if that lady is not going for the vaccination, her vaccination time is coming, everything will be monitored thoroughly. So first of all, at the first step, asanas will go to a village and he will do the eligible couple survey. Eligible couple survey means how many people are planning to have a child. So on the understanding of the person, and if he says that he is trying to have a child, so their data will be recorded and our asanas will go regularly for the checkup till that lady gets pregnant. Once that lady gets pregnant, then that ASA will keep on tracking that lady within the regular intervals of time. Okay? So she will go every time, she will check all the parameters like blood pressure, and she will prescribe the medicine, she will prescribe the food, everything. Suppose ASA nurse goes and check that lady, and during the checking, she finds that the blood pressure is high or hemoglobin is low, then a light will appear in that app. That could be a green light, yellow light, or red light, right? If green light is there, ASA nurse doesn't have to do anything. If yellow light is there, then a video pop-up will come. Video pop-up will come based on the condition over there of that lady. One doctor will be there in that video and suggesting the preventive measures our caution has to take. Okay. Suppose red light is there, then a message automatically go to the primary healthcare center. from primary health care center, message will go to the ambulance, and ambulance will come to that village and take that lady to primary health care center. If primary health care center doctors are able to take care of that lady, it is okay. Otherwise, the same ambulance will take that lady to the experts, means to the hospital in nearby city or nearby town. And the payment of EASA, which was manually done, we have controlled in this app. Attendance will be there for the EASA and everything will be there. So all the records from the inception of the child will be available in our server. Okay. So suppose we think of maintaining the record of a child since the conception of the child, okay, and keep on tracking throughout his life. So how much help will be there for the person to check what is the status, right? Suppose something has happened at some day, then his doctor always asks for medical history, and that person is having medical history, what kind of medicine he has taken, at which stage of his life, or at what year, or how many days. All the information is always there. You will keep on tracking all that kind of information since his conception. So that was the application we developed, EASA, and that application is running. So I will not go through detail of it. So this is EASA. And the second application we developed, that is for measuring sarcopenia in older Indians. So according to the report which we have taken, this is a falls in older people India in National Regional Review 2007 Department of Pediatric Medicine. Aging in world is 8.5% and aging in India itself is 7.7%. So prediction up to 2050 is 13%, means over 220 million people will be elderly in our India. So this population has to be taken care of. And you can think of a medical expenditure is about to come on our country, right? So to avoid that medical expenditure, if we keep on monitoring these elderlies and place IoT in a particular way so that we can monitor these elderly, right? You must have heard that generally the problem at elderly that they are falling somewhere, right? They go for somewhere and then they fall. After the falling, they break their leg, hand, or all those things, right? And then we have to take care of them. So these kind of situation can be avoided by putting these IoT devices properly. So what we did, I will not go into deep about what kind of parameters. So we have designed a wooden chair, a low-cost wooden chair fitted with sensors and devices. So this chair will monitor, suppose that from the 45 years of age, keep on sitting on these chairs, then this chair will monitor your muscle strength and warn you, keep giving you warning, right? So based on the warning, you improve your diet or do physical exercise, and then you can avoid the falling, right? So this is what we have also published in IEEE transaction and designed this chair. So time is running. I think this is 1:30. So let me stop over here. If you have any question, please ask.
So now session is open for the questions and answers here. So you can type your questions in the chat box here, or you can unmute yourself and ask the questions here. So any questions from the audience side? So let me
general question to Sandeep sir. A very nice presentation, sir. First of all, sir, should I ask you one question? This EASA is restricted to Rajasthan or it can be implemented in other parts. It is implemented.
See, nowadays so many applications are running, right? But those applications are not having all the components. This EASA is having every component.
Yes, sir. That is what I am asking. Is after looking at that particular EASA presentation,
right?
Whether it is restricted to Rajasthan only, or
no, that is not restricted to Rajasthan. Anybody, the only thing is that I have that app with me, with IIT Jodhpur. Anybody can come and take that app free of cost. If they have the infrastructure, they can implement it, and we will also help you in implementing that.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
That is free of cost. We have also uploaded this in Google App Store.
Acha. Sir, we have not heard in our region. That's why I asked about that particular thing.
You can take it up.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
You can take it up. We people will help you.
Yeah. Definitely, sir. I will in touch with some of the NGOs which will working on this particular thing. So I will definitely suggest those people to contact you.
Sure.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So just share your mobile number, sir, so that we can.
I think I will just write it, but Sri Vishal has my mobile.
You can take through me.
Okay, sir. I will take.
His message I will share with him. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any other question? So any other query from any other participants? Okay. So let us summarize it. Okay. So thank you very much, sir, for presenting such a nice presentation on the healthcare system here, sir. And I think your slides, such a presentation was in such a mode that a lot of things were self-explanatory here and presented very nice manner here. That's why I'm saying very less question in this session compared to here. So thank you very much, sir, for being with us here and sharing your knowledge and expertise, especially what you have demonstrated in case of EASA. And I still could remember here, sir, being the one of PhD students, I remember those days a lot of work was going on related to the EASA here. So I am a witness of this project here. So thank you once again, sir, for being with us and giving a presentation and sharing your knowledge. So information for the audience is tomorrow sir has another presentation on the IoT and machine learning here. So the same time tomorrow sir will be again joining with us here for his second session here. So thank you very much. With this note, I will.
Thank you everyone for listening very patiently. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. So with this note, I will stop today's session here. As you can say, fifth session. So next session we will meet again at 2:30 here, right? So I request all of you to join positively by 2:20 here, 2:25. Okay. Thank you very much.